Hello, everyone. Welcome to Lipedema Conversations with Gail and friends. I am Gail Straker. I am the community manager for Lipedema Simplified, and I am here today with my friend, Brian Hayward. Brian Hayward came to me for the very first time in January of 2021. It was January 28th. Now, I know people are like, what? What are you talking about? All those numbers. And the reason I remember those numbers is because he gave us a discount code and it was the date. So I saw that date over and over and over again. Um, so before we go too far into our conversation, I do want to say hi, Sandra. Sandra um, showed up bright and early today. And then we also have Patsy is here. She's a newbie and she says, I'm so blessed by what I've learned so far. And Patsy, that's the truth. The knowledge that we share with each other and that we find for each other is it that's more impactful because we're living with lipedema and where other people who aren't living with lipedema don't quite understand it, except Brian. Brian doesn't live with lipedema, but Brian does witness those of us living with lipedema. But still, even before I'll introduce you, Brian, because I'm kind of doing that anyways. Um, Brian, correct anytime I'm wrong, just say and I'll stop and let you talk, okay? So, Brian is a retired chemical engineer. He has a love for research and finding out what makes things work and what makes things work together in a more of a chemical sense. And he has a unique drive of his own to help people. And after living for decades with pain, he discovered that CBD was a good CBD, high quality, full spectrum CBD, could give him some pain relief. Brian, would you like to share a little bit more about how you discovered CBD would work for you?
Okay, sure. Hi, folks. I'm glad you're here. I have had osteoarthritis for a long time. Even as a teenager, I got first diagnosed with osteoarthritis in my back and had a lot of trouble with that. And so, in my hands, this is the worst of it. Are quite seriously with in you know enthralled uh, with arthritis. So anyway, so what happened is that I went to my doctors, and my primary care is at Mass General in Boston, and so they should know what they're talking about. But when I showed him my hands, and he did X-rays of it and stuff, and he just said it was very bad, but it probably won't get worse. And I said, so what do I do? And he said, well, the first thing is you have to stop taking the Advil and the Tylenol that you're taking every day because you're going to destroy your liver and you're going to destroy your stomach. And I said, yeah, but that's the only way I can do anything. And so that is I've had the same answer now, and that's been like 10 years at least, maybe 15 that I went in there to try to get some help, and I keep asking, and they still don't have anything to fix it. But anyway, so what I found was that a friend of my daughter's is a nurse, and she recommended trying CBD to a lot of her clients, and she recommended it to Dina to have me give it a try. I did. First time I put lotion on my hands from this company, the pain in my hands went away in like 15 minutes, and I was totally surprised at that. And I also began taking tinctures, liquid under my tongue, to augment the lotion that was on my hands, and a lot of my pain went away. And I've been unable to do a lot of simple, like open a jar or anything for years and years. So, and what I've learned is, number one, the main cause of pain from osteoarthritis is inflammation, which the body's sending a signal to my brain to say I need help. The brain keeps sending stuff there, and it inflames and swells and everything. And so when I met Catherine Seo uh, about, I don't know, 3, 4 years ago now, she was talking about lipedema, and I realized that CBD might help with that. So, anyways, she knew about CBD. She had tried it. It worked for her in the past. And so she and I got together, and that's how come I got started with this group of people. So I found that I could not get a straight answer on the internet as to why CBD worked. There
Right.
is so much baloney on the internet about CBD products that I couldn't get a straight answer. So I just kept working at it, and I found some good research information in a variety of places. And I finally started to find the medical community that was studying the effects of CBD, full spectrum CBD, on human beings. And so I've learned a lot about it now. So um, I do a little set of slides to kind of explain things, and I'm happy to do that. Gail, do you want me to start doing that
Um,
now?
well, before we do that, Brian, I do want to kind of share a little bit. So, for those people who do not know who Catherine Seo is, Dr. Catherine Seo is the founder, CEO, and director of Lipedema Simplified and the Lipedema Project. And one of the things that we're doing, because it's Lipedema Awareness Month, is we are sharing as much of our information as we possibly can with the lipedema community. When you said that doctors go, oh, that's about all you can do, go
Yeah,
ahead, you're going to have to live with the pain. You said, what? What do you mean I got to live with this pain, right? And so many of the lipedema patients, so many people in the lipedema community, they're also told the same thing. You're just going to have to live with this pain because there's nothing you can do about it. If their doctor even acknowledges that they have lipedema.
yeah.
And so you hit roadblocks.
Mm,
The people in our community, they hit roadblocks. And so we're here together trying to help maybe kick down a few doors, right?
mhm,
And the thing for us with pain, and I know that this is something I can imagine, and it might not be true, but when you say you have arthritis pain, I can imagine what arthritis pain feels like because I have arthritis pain. But when I say I have lipedema pain, other people with lipedema going say, what does it feel like?
mm,
They don't always know if what they're feeling is pain,
mm,
if what they're feeling is normal, because we've lived with it since many of us, since we were just before we turned teenagers, because in
yeah.
puberty, right? And nobody has told us, oh, that's lipedema pain that you're dealing with. And so I know some of us have a heaviness, a stiffness, a pressure. Others have just excruciating throbbing all the time. Others have things that feel like somebody I talked to this weekend at our heart to heart circles said it feels like someone is pounding, constantly pounding on her calves. So all of us feel pain in a different way, and yet you were able to say pain and inflammation go hand in hand,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And so when we show your slides, I want the audience to think about they might not feel pain, they might feel something
Mm,
else. There are other things besides joint pain and lipedema pain that CBD can help with. And I also want them to think about um, their inflammation levels because we do have some days are worse than others, right, with inflammation. And I know that I didn't think I was in pain. So I want our audience to look at this with an open mind and say, "You know what? That might help me."
mm,
Just how would it help me? How would my life might be different if I didn't experience this every day? So I just wanted to preface your slides with that because it's not just for arthritis pain at all.
Right.
Okay, so Brian, I'll bring those slides up and then I'm going to take your phone number down because
Okay.
that's gonna get in the way of the slides. And I'll bring these slides up and I'll just let you tell me when to move forward.
Sure. Go ahead. That's it. First slide. One of the things that people are concerned about when they hear about CBD is, does it make you high? I don't want to take anything that's going to get me high. And basically, the reason why that concern is there is that the parent plant for marijuana is called cannabis. And the cannabis plant, when I was a kid, was simply grown with high levels of THC in it, and they keep making it higher levels now. It's 25 to 40% of the weight of the, the marijuana is THC, and THC is psychoactive, and it's what gets you high. So over a period of time, people have wanted to see if they could produce a cannabis plant that had everything in it that we want it to have, but without THC. And so essentially, the government said in 2018 that, okay, marijuana and CBD are not the same, and we'll define CBD as the product that comes from hemp or cannabis that has less than 0.3% THC. And so there's very little THC in full spectrum CBD, but because it's the plant and it's bred to be low in THC, it still has a little bit in it, but it's not psychoactive. And the government says it's not psychoactive, which is really unusual for them. And CBD, you can drink the whole bottle of CBD and you won't get high. So,
And now, Brian,
yeah,
it here in the United States, CBD is legal in all 50 United States
yeah,
and its territories. We don't have to worry about whether it's legal or not because it is legal in the United States.
right. Yeah, yes, it
Okay.
is. And it's legal in most other countries too. But in the
Okay.
United States, it's finally become legalized in 2018 with the Farm Act. So, anyways, next slide. Okay, so I don't know if everybody can see that if it's big enough. Anyway, so the one of the problems that people have is a lot of people have bought CBD on the internet or at their local drugstore or wherever, and it doesn't work and it's really expensive. And so the reason why it doesn't work is some people are not going to be sensitive to CBD and nothing is going to work for them, including the full spectrum CBD that I recommend. But what happens is that, let me just open this up a little bit bigger here. All right, there we go. Now I can read it anyway. All right, so there's ways to tell whether you've got a quality CBD product or not. And so there are 4 quality checks that you can use by looking at the bottle and looking at the label on a bottle or a container, whatever the container is. The first thing is that it should say the 3 things here: full spectrum CBD, all together in that order. And so full spectrum CBD is from the whole plant. And so most of the CBD that's on the internet and that you're liable to buy is is a molecule of CBD without any of the other things from the plant in it, because it's really cheap to just take everything out of the plant and just eliminate all the other waste and just bring out CBD. So it should say full spectrum CBD because the whole plant is what is really healthy. CBD by itself isn't particularly effective. So it needs to be the whole plant CBD products. And there are reasons for all of that. But anyways, the next thing to look at is it should say on the label organic. And in the United States, it's either USDA certified organic or it's state regulated organic. And what happened to USDA has the states regulate according to their criteria for organic. So in the whole United States, pretty much every state has good control of the CBD that's being produced. So, and then the next thing on the label is when people buy hemp around the world on the open market, that's what most of the big corporations do that are selling CBD, because that's the cheapest way to get it. The problem is that the open market CBD is not good quality. It's contaminated with all kinds of heavy metals and pesticides and all of that. And I talk about that a little more in a few minutes. And so everything that I sell to people has the name of the farm on the label. That means that it can't come from around the world. It has to come from the farm that I described there. So you won't find single source, because that restricts the big corporation from, and they're going to do volume of CBD. They can't do it this way. They have to buy it open market. And so that's what's happened in the whole CBD market. And then there should be a website address on the label where you can get independent lab test results. And so if those 4 things are on the label and you can confirm these things on the label, you probably have a good product. So you don't need to buy something from me to get a good product. But what I encourage people to do is to buy full spectrum CBD that is organic and that is from a farm that's on the label. So you know which farm it came from. And you can call the farmers. The people who produce CBD in the United States from farms and have a product that they put together, they're very proud of what they're doing. And they're farm families. They're not corporations trying to make a profit. They're farm families trying to make a living. And so it's really valuable to have it from a particular farm. I use 2 farms, one in Western Massachusetts and another one in Brattleboro, Vermont, and you can call these farmers and talk to them. I've been to both farms that I source my products from. I know the farmers. I know exactly how they do their product, their planting, and how they cultivate and what they do to end up with full spectrum CBD in the end. So
That would be such a fascinating tour. Every time you say that, I think, next time I see you, I want you to take me to the farm, because wouldn't it be fabulous to be able to see what they do to make sure
yeah,
that they get a very um, a nice product, a very helpful, useful product
yeah,
for people. So yeah, that's awesome, Brian.
yeah.
I'm sorry I interrupted you. Go ahead.
Okay. And then, so the other thing is quality for one thing. So people bought a lot of CBD and it's junk, and no wonder it doesn't work, and they can charge $100 for it. Not good. So the other thing you can do is to determine, after you know it's quality, then you should say, well, how much should I be paying for this? And people don't want to tell you that, but here's the thing. Everybody in the industry sells CBD based on the milligrams of CBD, and they charge 5 to 10 cents, that range, per milligram of CBD. Everybody does this. And anybody who's selling it at a different pricing than in between those is probably not telling the truth, or they're just way overcharging. So what that means is that on 1,000 milligram product, the first one down there, amount of CBD, 1,000 milligrams, 5 to 10 cents is $50 to $100. So 1,000 milligram product is really worth $50 to $100 if it's full spectrum organic CBD from a farm. And then, so if it's 500 milligrams on the label of the container, that's how much CBD is in the container that you're looking at, it's $25 to $50, just half the amount. And if it's 300 milligrams, it's $15 to $30. So if you take a picture, if you've got a phone and you want to take a picture of this slide, go right ahead and do that. And you can investigate your own sources of CBD and be sure that you're getting a quality product at a fair price. If somebody's selling something way below these, significantly below these prices, then you're probably not getting the real thing. And if they're selling significantly higher pricing than this, then you're probably being taken advantage of, or it's not good pricing. You want to try to find a quality product like the 4 points that it says there, and then you want to know what the price is. If you get these 2 things, you're in good shape. So let's do the next slide. Okay, a few facts about CBD quality. I'll just kind of go through this quickly and take a picture of this too. You can look up these sources and all the rest of that. But Lisa Fletcher is a well-known ABC investigative reporter, and in an article that she wrote, she said that 70% of the CBD sold in the USA comes from foreign countries, and essentially what that means, unregulated. 70% of the CBD is bought from countries that are not regulating the production of hemp, and they generally use CBD to pull contaminants out of the soil. The hemp is the hemp plant, what that they plant is to cover crops, and that's what Jason Cranford, Flowering Hope Foundation, that's what he talks about when he's writing about the CBD, is that overseas they use hemp to do cover crops. They use it purposely to suck out pesticides and heavy metals from the soil so they can plant food crops next. So, and he's very well known in the industry, Jason Crawford. He's a well-known person, expertise in CBD. And then the third person that I quote is Sean Callahan. He's from Ellipse Analytics in Denver, Colorado. And he's also well known in our industry for quality testing. He ran a study and he did the top 240 selling CBD products were tested for contaminants, and 70% of the products were found highly contaminated with heavy metals like lead, arsenic, herbicides like glyphosate, which is the active ingredient in Roundup, which is cancer causing, and a host of other contaminants, including pesticides, BPA, and toxic mold. So you can look these people up and, connect with them, find out all that information. But all of that is true. And let's go to the next slide. So you want to be really careful about what you buy. The only way to know for sure is they put the name of the farm on the label. And then how much CBD should I take? That's another question people have. Generally, when we recommend to people for dosage rates, in the first 2 weeks after you start using a product, we would recommend, if you have buying a tincture, which goes under the tongue, or a capsule that you swallow, we recommend people try it, start out once in the morning and once at night. And those dosages are 25 to 30 milligrams of CBD. So 25 to 30 milligrams is a normal dose rate for CBD. And so if you try that for a couple of weeks, and then at the end of 2 weeks, if twice a day works for you, it may not, but most people it works for at twice a day. And if you cut back, you can cut your dosage in half and try that for 2 more weeks. You may still get exactly the same results as you did at twice a day, because some people have a sensitivity enough to CBD that 1 a day will work, and you could take it in the morning or at night. And then, so after the 2 weeks, we just recommend you can stay with twice a day. I still take it twice a day, just because I know how healthy it is for me. But if you want to save money, the way to do it is to cut it down and see if it works. Lowest dose that gives you the results you desire. So
And
that's
so then what if you're saying is, if it works for me with 2, then after 2 weeks back off, see if it works for me with 1. If it does, stay at 1, and if it doesn't, go back up to 2, or maybe every other day, but then play with it, right? And find your lowest amount of dose, because that's going to be, you want the, why pay more than you need to pay if you get results with a lower dose. But the 2 weeks will tell you if it works or not for you.
Yes, you're going to know in 2 weeks. Yeah. And
Or
so
less.
or less. Yeah. A lot of people find that it's a lot less, but anyways, and then topical salves and lotions, those are the things that any kind of salves or lotions that have CBD in it, they generally come in a container that's either 1 ounce or 2 ounces. And the average potency is 100 to 500 milligrams per ounce. And so the product we sell is 2 ounces and it's 1,000 milligrams. And those products, all you do is wherever you feel in pain, put it on it. If it's on on your legs, if it's on the calves, it's on on the part of your arms, anywhere where you're feeling pain, and it works. The lotions and the general CBD works for lipedema pain because it reduces inflammation. It works for arthritis pain because a lot of people with lipedema have arthritis also, and you just rub it on anywhere where you got the arthritis pain, and it will take it away for almost everybody in like 10 or 15 minutes. So you'll know right away. The lotions, the salves are, you just put it on, and if it doesn't work in 15 minutes, it's not going to work for you. Okay, so next slide. So these are the products that I have, and like I say, you don't need to buy from me, but I know these products are high quality and the price is fair. So generally, the there's a lotion that my Western Mass farmer provides, and it's nice smelling, and it's a little lower. It's a good bit lower dosage than the next one over, which is the CBD, which Bordertown Farms in Brattleboro, Vermont, they call it a liniment, and it's 1,000 milligrams of CBD, and it's the most popular product that we have. More people use that than any of the other products. The next thing over is the Western Mass capsules. The Western Mass capsules have 25 milligrams in them, and they're same high quality as the Bordertown Farm products, and they're a little lower cost from this farm. So people are really conscious about cost. You may want to try this. The tincture from Bordertown is 1,800 milligrams in the bottle, and it's $95. And so, in fact, yeah, so that's $95 for that. And you put that under your tongue, and it goes into your bloodstream and gets CBD into your body. The fifth product here is Bordertown Farm gel caps, and they're 30 milligrams, and there's 60 in each of these products. There's 60 capsules in each one. The gel caps are like a really nicely done. This farmer has to send them out to somebody else who does specifically gelatin capsules that will, there's no leaking at all from those. You may get some oily leakage from capsules that are just kind of put together like drug companies do. So this one is really popular, except that the process of making this a gel cap is more expensive, and therefore it's more expensive to use the product. So it has a lot to do with pricing, and the quality is the same across the board. So,
Brian, I really appreciate you talking about the pricing. Right now, so many of us have to we have to be careful with our dollars, and so especially in the lipedema community, because we have to pay for our own compression often, and we have to pay. Insurance doesn't cover a lot of our treatment. However, being upfront about pricing, I think, is amazing, because not very many people will be upfront about pricing,
yeah.
right? And so we really don't know why we pay what we pay. Now, I can tell you, I'm just looking at these 5 products here, and I have tried all 5 products. I prefer the CBD liniment. It's the number 1 seller for Brian. And the Bordertown Farms capsules. Those are what I prefer.
Yeah.
I'm because I prefer them. There's different things that make me prefer them, right? I mean, it's not necessarily price. For me, but the liniment, I actually prefer the smell of the liniment over the lotion. The 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 lotion, um, it has a sweeter smell, a more floral smell, where this smells like, I have to admit, it smells like the stuff in the lawnmower. I mean,
Yeah.
it smells grassy, it
Yeah.
smells
Right.
herbally, and And so I find that I like this. However, I think everybody should take a look at the label on the ingredients, and you can read. I mean, even on on mine, you can read the ingredients. I had a friend that I was going to have let her use some of this, but she is allergic to lavender. And there's lavender in this one, and there's not lavender in the lotion. And so I got her some lotion for Christmas. Because she wasn't allergic to anything. And every single one of us needs to make sure that we know what's inside of what we use.
Right.
We can't just, I mean, and so Brian, when, with the gel caps and the capsules, what they call the carrier oil,
Hmm.
carrier oil is extra virgin olive oil, correct?
It's extra virgin olive oil in the CB in the border town, and the carrier in uh, the Western Mass product is a uh, part of the hemp plant oil.
Okay.
So
Oh, okay.
it's
So it's
it's
hemp oil.
it's more of a pure hemp product actually, and that's one of the things that particular farmer thinks is a value, is that there's nothing else other than hemp based products in there.
Wow.
Mm.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. So
Yeah,
thank you for letting us know that.
yeah.
And then, so with every single one of these things, Brian, you are always upfront
Hmm.
with what's in it and why you have why it's this cost.
Mm.
And so, like Patsy here said, she said, "Thank you for acknowledging the expense." So often we don't even say, stuff like this. It's expensive if it doesn't work. It's also expensive when we're looking at this, trying to make a decision about what's going to be our next step, and what are we going to spend our money on? We all have that
Yeah.
in our budgets. Am I going to budget for something like this? And so, it's compression garments, vibration plate, so many things that we have to consider, those of us dealing with
Right.
not only lipedema, especially lipedema, but then other chronic conditions or illnesses that we have to face because it's a lifetime situation. Okay, so what else? Is there anything else that you want me to talk about on this
One,
page?
one more thing, it's while we're on the pricing thing,
Uh-huh.
the these are the list prices, which if you just want to buy them one at a time, that's what you pay. A lot of people get a subscription. We offer a subscription, which is a 15% discount on all of any product that you buy is 15% discount if you have a subscription. And the trick about our subscription is that all you have to do is send me an email or call me or text me, because I deal directly with all of my clients, and just say I don't want this anymore.
Right.
Cancel it. There's no, you don't have to jump through any hoops to stop using the product. As soon as you let me know, you're all set. And the the other thing that we do is, over time we've realized that people who are on a fixed income or limited income cannot afford even at 15% discount. So I don't know, 6 months or so ago, we offered we tried something out and offered a 30% discount for people that are on a limited income. And there's no requirement, there's no income measurement about this. You just say, I want to be on the 30% discount limited income thing. All you have to do is do that, and you're automatically, um, you get that 30% discount. And it's by subscription. So, because that's the only way I can keep track of things like that. But
Right.
so if you have a subscription that you can easily change, delay an order, people do that all the time. You know.
So so, so then what you're saying, I wanna make sure I understand this correctly. So, if I'm on a limited income,
Hmm.
I'm I'm retired. My income's
Mhm.
fixed.
Yeah.
I would really like to try some of these products, but I'm not sure which one I'm going to like,
Mhm.
right? And
Yeah.
but I first want to try the salve.
Mhm.
So, or excuse me, the liniment. And so I reach out to you and I say, Brian, I really want to try this liniment, but I'm on a fixed income.
Mhm.
I have the 30% discount for
Right.
this. And I try it and I'm going to subscribe. I try it and I don't like it.
Mhm. Right.
I can just say thank you and move
Yeah.
along, or I could say, okay, can that subscription now be changed to the lotion?
Mhm.
Can I
Yeah.
do that? So I can change among, it's not just for that one item. I can change among the different things until I find what works for me.
Yeah. Any product that you buy will be discounted at 30%.
Okay.
Just say you
Okay.
want to be on the limited income program.
Okay. And then, okay. And then what happens if, like, let's say I find that after buying and I use 2 a week or 2 a day, then I go back down to 1 and I only need one of these every one package every 2 months
Yeah.
instead of one package every month. Can I change that as well?
Yep. Anytime. Just let me
So
know. Send me a
all I
me
gotta do is send you an email or a text
Yep.
or give you a phone call,
Yep.
and you'll just change it for me.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Customer service, dude.
Ah, and
Seriously.
yeah. Yeah.
Boy, I feel kinda spoiled. I know I'm talking a lot about this. If everybody takes a look at, the 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 comments and the chat, I have put Brian's email in there, and
Mhm.
I have put Brian's Natural Wellness Boston in there,
Mhm.
and I believe I started off with your phone number.
Yes.
So, do you want me to keep the slides up, or do you want me to move the slide down?
Take the slides down. It's
Okay.
good. Yeah.
And so, Brian, we have about 5, 10 more minutes.
Yeah.
And I recognize a couple of your clients here.
Mhm.
Julie Stewart is here, and I know that she uses it. And I've seen others on here that use your product as well. But if you have, if you think about one story that just made you feel like, "Okay,
Mm.
I can die happy now because I have really helped somebody." That meaning is like, "Yes, this is why I am doing what I'm doing." What story would that be?
Well, there's a lot of them, but I think the one that I got the most kick out of, I think, is kind of it, it. Well, there's a number of the ladies who, whenever somebody buys the product, I try to call them, to talk to them because I want to know what is going on and to go over the product that you're buying and what you should do and all that. And I just really want to have a relationship with everybody. Recently, I've asked Jerry Hamill is a
Right.
lipedema community person. She has lipedema and she's been using it for years. And she's been helping me with making some of the phone calls to make sure that people are happy and that they know exactly what they need to do and all the rest of that. And I have also a close friend who is working for me to just help with communications because it's as the business has gotten a little bit bigger. So these two ladies are very good people. And so it's me and them. We're all available, and I am personally available to anybody who wants to talk to me pretty much anytime. Uh, so the many of the people that I've talked to were either bedridden or say that they just kind of stay around the house, inside the house, because they cannot navigate stairs or anything like that. And so a lot of the ladies that I've talked to have those kinds of that much disability from lipedema. And a number of them now have told me about, like, they tell stories about, like, now I can go out of the house, I can drive, I can go to the grocery store, I can walk, I go get the mail now. These are really miraculous kind of things that I don't want to oversay it, but it is really kind of, so exciting that
Right.
people, yeah.
It is, and every now and then you'll share another story with me, and I'm just tickled, and I think I'm not sure if I shared the story with you
Hmm.
about what happened on May 16th, because I don't know that we've been together since May 16th. Have
What
we?
happened on May 16th?
Okay, so I'm a Sweet Adeline,
Hmm.
and if anybody knows about Sweet Adelines, that's a barbershop organizations. We sing barbershop music, four-part harmony. And in the spring, the Sweet Adeline organization has their contests. They have their 3-day convention, and we have had ladies. And it's ours is a female. The Sweet Adelines is a female-centric organization, and I have women in my chorus who struggle with standing and walking through the convention center and standing on the risers for rehearsal for 3 hours and those sorts of things. I mean, they might not necessarily have lipedema, but they have their, our most senior person is 86, right? And sometimes when you're in your 80s, sometimes standing on those risers for 3 hours, you have to have magic tennis shoes.
Yeah.
So, anyway, this woman that I'm gonna tell you about, I believe she's in her 70s. I believe she is. I'm not sure. But I think she might be in her 70s. She broke her ankle a few years back and has had a lot of pain in that ankle. And I've noticed that she uses a riser stool now, and that she walks a particular way because you can tell she's in pain, right? And she pushes it, and then she has a lot of recovery time. Like, she has to spend about, I don't know, the whole next day recovering from going to chorus, and it makes it harder and harder for her to participate in life where she wants to be in her hobby. So when we on May, I know it's May 16th, because I was in Spokane, Washington. I'm from Boise, Idaho, and I was in Spokane, Washington at contest. And I carried this is how much liniment I have in all of my canisters, right? I use them all. I never leave one full. All of my all of my liniments look like this. And they get to this, I order more, and then they immediately go back to this because I use it, right? So I go to her room. I noticed she was hobbling a bit. She just looked so worn. And I thought, I've got some of this in my chorus bag. So I went back to my hotel room. I grabbed it and I went to her room. And I said, do you want me to rub your feet, or do you want to rub your feet? Please look at what's in this and tell me if it's okay for me to get some of this in your feet. And she read it and she goes, okay. She goes, I'll give it a try. She goes, I've heard about CBD helping. So she rubbed it in and she goes, "Oh, that's warm." It felt warm, and um it invigorated her feet, right? She rubbed it really deep into her ankle, her sore ankle. And so I sat on the end of her bed, and cuz we share rooms, and so her roommate was in there and everything, and we're having this great conversation, and she just left this on her bed. And then it was probably half hour later, she reached in and she grabbed it and she rubbed more into her feet. So I thought, that's interesting. Wonder why she just put more in. Well, she put more on her feet because it was so invigorating. It gave her feet a little bit of a poof, like a tingle, and yeah, oh, this feels good. She rubbed more into her feet. She says, here, and she handed it back to me. And I said, nope. I put it on her nightstand. I said, good night, ladies. I'm heading out. I, the next morning, before 6 o'clock, I got a text message from her. She said, I just got up and went to the bathroom without even thinking about my feet. She goes, I just got right out of bed.
Mm,
And she goes, my feet don't hurt. My
mm,
ankle doesn't hurt. It's a miracle.
mm,
And I know those of you who are listening, who have heard my story before, this was snake oil. Took me 6 months going, la, 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 blah, blah, blah. I'm not listening to this. And just this alone gave, she used it all weekend.
Mm.
3 days on her feet without pain.
Wow.
Walking, and I mean, we walk walk a lot, we stand a lot, we sit and stand and sit and stand, and all those motions. You know how when you first stand up and your feet hurt? She used this for 3 solid days, and she loved it so much that now, I don't know if she's ordered from you yet, maybe because she still has some of this left, and she hasn't ordered yet. She took it home with her because I have so many half canisters,
Mhm.
but she loved it so much that the next chorus rehearsal, she brought me a gift.
No, no.
She brought me a package of it was frozen. She goes, "Here you go." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, it's frozen. It's meat," right? She
Mm.
bought me 6 pounds of bacon as a thank you gift. As a
Oh,
thank you gift. So I'm really hoping if you end up with another customer from Nampa, Idaho,
okay. I did get it
right?
from, yep, yep, I did.
It she ordered.
She's already ordered, yeah.
Yeah. So now I've got 2 women in my chorus who or I don't know how much Judy ordered, but I do know that Vera orders 2 every time because she keeps
Mm,
1 in her nightstand and 1 in her purse because it makes such a difference. And I'll tell you, I never thought it would.
mm.
Never thought it would, and it does. And so I'm your biggest fan, Brian. I'm your biggest fan because
That's because I'm so handsome.
no,
Oh, that's not it. Okay, never
has
mind.
nothing to has nothing to do with looks,
Oh,
baby. It has everything to do with it has everything to do with how I feel. And but what I love about it is I know what it does for me, and I am happy to keep half containers and share them with people I care about.
mm,
Now, some like these things. Now my brother-in-law, I don't know if he's ordered again or not. I think I might have to keep buying it for him. He's a mechanic. His hands hurt. He's 63 years old and his hands hurt. He's a diesel mechanic, right? But these we have to be careful with now because there are some medical conditions. No, that's not right. There's some medicines that we have to make sure that we talk to our doctor or our pharmacist about before we take, correct?
yep, yep, yep. I let doctors know that I'm planning to do it and ask them if it's okay. I'm not looking for advice on whether I should or I shouldn't from them because they
Right,
generally don't know anything or just have heard things about it, but doctors don't really particularly care about this type of help for people,
right,
but they generally know if it's going to cause a problem with your medications. That's the
right,
and the problems it generally causes with any medications that you're taking is that medications are designed to degrade in your system so they don't build up and stay in your system. And the rate at which they degrade is where the level, that's how they decide how much you're going to take and all that. So the degradation rate could either go down or up when you're taking CBD orally. So you want to let your doctors know what you're taking. And some of the
yeah,
blood pressure medications can be affected by that. But lots of
and
people
yeah,
that have blood pressure medications are taking the CBD. They just need to let their doctor know.
right. So my husband, before his open heart surgery, had to go off all supplements for 2 weeks. They didn't want him taking anything that they didn't know about. So he had to go off all supplements. And I said, even the CBD, yes. Even the magnesium, yes. Gail, what does all mean? So okay, I
Yeah.
got you. So he went off. The day after his surgery, I said, when can he start taking the CBD again? And they said, oh, immediately. They just had to get him through the surgery. So always when you list stuff on your medical form, you know how they say, has there been anything that you've added? Always make sure you tell them, 30 milligrams or 25 milligrams of CBD daily or whatever, so that they know. I do know that there's some people who are on a blood thinner,
Yep.
and all their blood thinner or their coag pharmacist wants to know is how much and when are you taking it, because they're looking at things, with blood thinners like warfarin really close. But so my husband takes one of these every single night, sleeps better. I
Yep.
take it, I sleep better. Restless legs, calm. That's what got me, was the restless legs got calm. And I realized for me, restless legs was my pain.
Mm.
That's where I felt my pain. So, Brian, we're gonna go here because, I have a dinner date, but before
Oh,
I but before I go, I do have to talk about Lipedema Awareness
oh yeah.
Month,
Yes.
right? And everybody is so sick and tired of hearing my voice. But I will tell you right now, we got some pretty amazing things happening. I'm going to bring them up in the banner so you can see them, and then I'll pop them into the chat. So first of all, on the 17th, which is next Monday, week from yesterday, we're going to have a free webinar from the Lipedema Project. It's called Effective Strategies to Beat Carb Addiction with Dr. Nadir Ali and our very own wonderful, amazing Siobhan Huggins. Now, if you have never heard of Dr. Nadir Ali, he is really big in the low carb community. He is a cardiologist who has discovered what he had to do to beat his own personal carb addiction. And so he and Siobhan talk about carb addiction. And that's Monday, June 17th at 4 p.m. Eastern. I am going to put that link in the comments and chat. There it goes. It's right there.
Okay.
Now,
Great.
let me make sure I've got, yep, if it cut it off,
It says learn lipedemasimplified.org/free web.
yeah, I see that. Okay, let me take that off. And I will shorten it so that so so that it
Oh, free webinar.
yeah. Yeah. So let me change that a little bit so it gets the whole entire link in there. Um for everybody, because I always wonder if I put too much stuff in, if it's too long. So let me see. I will take off the word free and see if that helps. Um, Let me see if that helps. Because the one thing I don't want, webinar, Lipedema Project, and let's see if that helps. Did it all get it? Let's see if that got in there. Ah, there it goes. Okay. So now I know how many letters I can get. The next thing I want to talk to you about is what has been going on with Lipedema Simplified All Lipedema Awareness Month. We have had these amazing things called heart-to-heart circles. It's a gathering. It's an in-person gathering, and they have been happening here and there and everywhere. We've had them in Cambridge. We've had them in Boise, Idaho. We're having in Nashville. We're having one coming up in Oklahoma City. We've got them happening in Boulder, Colorado, and the Portland area. So everywhere we're going, we're having these heart-to-heart circles. These are in-person gatherings. We have an amazing one happening it's called Tamarack, Florida. And anybody who lives in that area knows that that is right outside of Fort Lauderdale. So we are hoping that all you ladies and men and whoever you are out there who either take care of people with lipedema or who have lipedema or want to learn more about lipedema, we know that you, all of you guys who are in the Fort Lauderdale area, will show up to Bertha and Sherry's. Come on, Gail, you can do it. Circle this coming weekend. They really need people there. Last year, Bertha was so sad because nobody came. So, and with all those, and with all you people in the area, in the Fort Lauderdale area who have lipedema, let's give Bertha some cheer because it's like holding a birthday party and nobody's showing up. I tell you, she was so excited. So so let's make sure that if you're in that area, at least show up, register for it. Um, if you register, Bertha will reach out to you. She'll text you or she'll email you. So make sure that you register for it. And if you want to hold one, just send us an email. We're hoping to get one in New York City, but we don't have anybody in New York City that's ready to host one yet. So, and this is for June, ladies. It's it's halfway over almost, right? So if you're in the New York City area and you want to go to one, you might have to co-host one with I think Patty Cornute. So that right there is a celebrity you could co-host one with. And then let me think if there's one more thing I want to share. I do believe there is. You want to know what's going on with us? Um, oh, everybody wants to find a doctor.
Mm.
Everybody has trouble finding a doctor. I shouldn't say everybody. Most everybody. Did you know that Lipedema Project has had a provider directory for 11 years? It's like the best kept secret in
Mhm.
lipedema is that we have had this provider directory for 11 years, and it was compiled. It was compiled by um, lipedema patients. It wasn't compiled by some person who said, "Oh, let's find lipedema doctors." It was compiled by the patients who went to these people and said, "I want this one." And it's not just doctors. These are um, physical therapists, occupational therapists, uh, manual lymph drainage therapists, massage therapists, all the treatment therapists. That's what that provider directory has in it. So please make sure that if you get the chance to click on that and find yourself a provider. Maybe your mom has lipedema and can't find a provider, or maybe you're moving. Maybe you're moving to a new area and you want to find a provider in advance. This provider directory is from the Lipedema Project. Make sure that you go in there, click on it. Even if you don't need a provider, maybe you want to put your provider in. Then you click on there, and then if you say my provider's not here, then you write to us and get your provider on our list so other people can benefit from you advocating for yourself. Okay, I'm done promoting.
One more thing, though,
What?
beyond that, I'm doing a free webinar the week after the
You
17th,
are.
25th. So, and that'll be much more in depth on the knowledge stuff. And plus, a lot of times people need to hear it a second time.
Right. So, and
It-
Brian, thank you for reminding me that. So we're holding Dr. Nadir Ali's um, webinar first.
Mhm.
And it's going to be crazy because once that webinar is over, they can hit the very same button and register for yours next.
Oh, okay, great.
So
Okay.
we use the same webinar link. Anytime you guys hear me say, "Oh, we're going to have a webinar," you just click the link that you've been using for the last year and a half because it's just keep on registering. Okay? So your webinar is with Dr. Leslyn Keith
Nice. Yes.
about pain. And so the first one is Dr. Nadir Ali, Monday, the 17th, and then yours is 8 days later on the 25th.
Right.
Same time.
Tuesday, the 25th. Yep.
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 So, I mean, we have some fun stuff happening this
Yeah.
month.
Yeah.
So, Brian,
That's
we
it.
have gone 17 minutes over because and my husband just walked in because I have a dinner date and he's like, "So this is what I want to do. In 10 words or less, you give our audience a message."
Okay. It's not the thing that the doctors keeps saying to lipedema community people is that it's their fault. They don't maybe say it directly, but they don't believe you. They, one the lady I talked to today said that lipedema is a made up word. Her doctor, her primary care. Anyway,
Oh,
so it's not, I guess the thing that I've found to be very exciting when I've heard people talk about it is to make it clear to people that have lipedema that it's not your fault, in spite of the fact that the medical community has been treating you like that for a long time. It's not your fault.
yeah. And as and I want to add to that, it's not your fault. Taking care of yourself is your responsibility. And now that you know you have lipedema, you can't unknow it. So take one step, right? One small step for lipedema kind will change the world, right?
Great.
I'm being silly. And now I got to take about 5 small steps and get off this thing so that my husband could take me out for dinner.
I mean, all
So
right. It was great seeing everybody.
it was great seeing everybody. You guys, you hang out with me for so long. We love you. And I will see you the next time. Good night, everybody.